Hello, Sagittarius. Welcome to your monthly forecast. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at the energy of August. You can either watch this in advance of the month or when the month is underway. Either way, it's good to see you. Welcome. We're going to begin with channeled messages, and as I was meditating this morning, the thing that kept coming to me was the image of a daisy. This is definitely one of my favorite totems because there's so many cool things once you start to do the research with it. The first comes from its name, which basically is Old English for like the day's eye because it would open and close according to how much light there was. This really reminded me of High Priestess energy, and it's about focusing on things, sometimes even when you don't want to see them. That's the intuitive download that I was getting. It also is about closing and opening chapters in your life. And the cool thing with flowers is even when they close, they usually open up the next day, and there's always this promise of a new beginning, so I like that. And of course, as a pollinator, they portend good things because they're attracting bees and butterflies and all kinds of cool flying insects. So this is a chance for you not only to achieve that sort of abundance, but also to possibly see something from a different perspective. Third eye opening up. All right, the next piece that I wanted to focus on was this interesting sort of mathematical quirk associated with the flowers. So normal field daisies have 34 petals, which is connected to the Fibonacci sequence. Also, the however many small compound flowers are on the main head also are associated with that sequence. And it's a way for nature to basically maximize surface space so that it can receive, the maximum amount of sunshine, and also when it's putting all of the pollen out there, it's the maximum chance for it to reproduce. So I love that there's structured organization in something that just looks beautiful, form and function. I have organizations and patterns as the title here because this also gives you a chance to see that very few things in life are random. Usually they are synchronicities that you're calling into your life. Usually they're presenting a lesson or an opportunity that you can embrace. Once you see the pattern, you can start to decide, is this something I want to engage with? And this is why I put the Eight of Pentacles here, because it's research oriented and it's something that is also a very learned card. So paying attention to the signs and symbols is going to help you unlock abundance, and also being able to turn your attention towards something will help you be more effective at basically manifestation. All right, let's take a look at the Celtic Cross and see what's coming through. If you ever want to see which decks that I use, you can go to my website. It's in the main navigation. This is the Sun and Moon. I think we got two that stuck together, which is really cool. We'll give that a second and we'll look at these. All right, the first of the two catalyst cards is the Dead End, and then the second one is the Lover. So there is some sort of a silver lining behind a perceived setback or delay. And as this caption says here, the catalyst really exists to help you create movement and to make you kind of go in the right direction sometimes. And we can see here with this hand, it's almost like a Rider-Waite-Smith Ace card where the universe is sort of handing you something. In this case, it's saying, don't focus on this, focus on this. So if you're having a very difficult time like reaching someone, whether it's through email, telephone, or just hanging out, or if there's been something in your life where someone has just flat out said, no, I'm not interested, or there's been a rejection where you've actually, this could also be like being let go of a job or being broken up with or whatever. There's different forms of this. It is the universe pushing you into a path where there's more receptivity. Now, there's a little bit of healing of the heart and healing of your sort of self-confidence that needs to happen here, because it's almost as if there's disbelief or pushback when someone else comes through. And what I like about this is beneath this swan is a pearl. And there's actually pearls all around this. So pearls come through difficulty. If you think of how it's formed inside a mollusk, basically there's a little irritant that creates this calcium buildup. And then you have this beautiful, deposit that we now value because it's beautiful. So sometimes through a difficult situation, you can come out looking and being even stronger or better than you may realize. And I see that there's someone in the periphery that sees the pearl-like quality that you have, okay? So an initial setback, pushback, or rejection followed by someone or something that is open to it, but disbelief on your part. So you have to work at suspending that disbelief and saying, you know what? I opened this door. I opened this opportunity. Let's see where it leads. Let's take a quick moment just to survey what's in front of us here in the Celtic Cross. I love that we actually have the High Priestess making an appearance here in the crowning position. Even more, I appreciate the fact that the sun is the outcome. Are there challenges this month? Yes. Self-care and just finding balance and really getting your resources in the right space, but you can do it. So let's not get too far ahead of things. Let's begin with the centermost card. I quite love how this is illustrated. This is the Two of Pentacles, and we have the juggling and sort of decision energy that's really prominent here. So the top of this says change. The change here is, again, maybe trying not to please everyone or do everything, really picking one of those two coins in front of you and saying, this is where my energy is going to go this month, okay? This can also represent work-life balance. And for some of you, maybe you've been working too much, particularly since we got this card coming through, Ten of Swords in Hope, Spheres, and Opportunities. So there's a chance to avoid burnout, sickness, or making a mistake simply by saying, this is too much, or I need help with this, or just flat out no. Because you might be on this sort of path of diminishing returns. That can also be you saying, we're going to stop this dead end energy. All right, so once you let go of one of those two things, then you have an ace. So there's a hidden Ace of Pentacles here, but you're just maybe too busy to see it. Once you start to focus on it, that hidden ace can then bring you to this more abundant energy that we have in the Nine of Pentacles. Notice how we don't have daisies, but we have like sunflowers, and it has the same, I've done the research, they also have the same Fibonacci sequence that basic sunflower does, because I think they're in the same general family. What I love about sunflowers are they're heliotropic, meaning that they follow the light. And whenever you get this or the Queen of Wands, there's usually a call to action from your part to be the leader. Other people are trying to find a source of insight or light or inspiration. You can be that for someone else. This is one of the most fiercely independent minor arcana cards that you can pull. And it's also one of the most prosperous. So once you have created some order and some focus and some balance, you can take that extra ace and bring it here, and you have the Ten of Pentacles if you add it together. So I feel like you're on the precipice of really having a nice breakthrough. The Ten of Pentacles, of course, indicates marriage, success in business, success in finances, a beautiful network of people in your life. And all of this basically hinges on a change in how much you're willing and ready to kind of like spread out your resources, okay? So those are the first two powerful messages. Let's take a look and see what's going on here in the deep past. We have the Four of Swords here in the reverse state. If we take a look at it in the upright position, it's really about needing to take a rest. In fact, if we look at the traditional card, you can see that even a little bit more clearly. We have a sepulcher here, a person that's finally at rest. Three of the Swords representing the pain that is gone, and now the understanding of what they can do next. There is peace, there is power, there is focus, and that comes through the ability to take a breather. I don't know when it became wrong to just sort of pause and not have to do something like in rapid succession, but let's say you've been through a really difficult job or a breakup or a life event. You can take a break. And if you need to pause and push back, just like we saw, push back so that you don't end up spinning your wheels and creating the same cycle again. So that's message number one. Once you've taken that rest, there may just be an increased sort of speed with which things are moving, because sometimes the Four of Swords is simply an indication, when reversed, of rapid momentum. And it's kind of like you're trying to catch your breath. So wherever you can create space for rest, for meditation, and for recharging, it's really important to do so this month. All right, moving on from the Four of Swords to the Three of Cups. This is really beautiful. The card came through reverse, but let's look at it in the upright position for just a moment. When upright, this card represents joy and celebration, just like we see in the illustration. It can be a new person coming into your life. It can also be an opportunity that's really worthy of a celebration like we see here. And it's also a nudge from the universe to get out there, to basically see what the world has to offer. Now, why did it come through reversed? There's a little bit of reluctance on your part. Some of that could be because of exhaustion, because we saw normally there would be rest here, but some of you are lacking that rest. This can also be recovery after a period of a breakup or a setback. So this is just saying the heart needs a little bit of time to heal, or there's a little bit of apprehension because you feel like you've been stuck. Once you allow yourself to see what's out there, however, things start to turn around. And as we saw here, there could be someone who really sort of lights up your energy and shines a light on opportunity. So I think it's worth it. The Three of Cups in reverse is kind of like a social butterfly, but one that doesn't really, an unlikely social butterfly, one where they're just coming out of the chrysalis and they're like, I don't know if I can do this. And then they spread their wings and they kind of do a great job anyway. So give yourself a shot. You're actually going to probably excel better than you think, particularly when it comes to social activities. And as I say, whenever it comes to lover energy or Two of Cups or Three of Cups, you can do with that whatever you want. It's just magnet energy. Someone sees the pearl that you are. Why not embrace that? Why not see where that leads? Okay, I'll put these here so you can see them a little easier. All right, let's go ahead now and focus on your crowning card. We have the High Priestess. And this was the daisy, opening and closing. It's trying to help you see something new. High Priestess energy, you couldn't ask for a better positioning than the crown because it's basically showing that things are starting to light up when it comes to brainstorming, ideation. Basically being able to sense from the beginning, from the get-go, if something is worth your time and energy. Suffice it to say, this is a really good time to lean into leadership, creativity, and also anything that allows you to deepen your connection to spirit. There's nothing bad to say about the High Priestess in this position. It's only good. There are certain positions and certain placements where it's just like, this is what I want to see. So trust yourself, listen to yourself, don't second guess yourself. That's what I would say when it comes to all things intuitive, creative, and leadership oriented. Moving into the near future, we have letting go, which is exactly what we need to do based on this, letting go of one of these two things. So we have the Four of Pentacles. It's foundational in this particular deck, but it's saying that where you're at is just the beginning. It is just the foundation. The typical Rider-Waite-Smith card, I'll pull it while we're talking, it shows someone holding a coin very close to their heart. Oftentimes what they're doing is protecting themselves from a perceived lack. So they're thinking to themselves, I'm going to hold on to this because if I let go, what if there's nothing else there? The way this card is illustrated is it's basically saying, why would you hold on to something that is less than when there's so much more that wants to come through this month? And I like that. So open yourself up to think about this as a beginning point in a negotiation. Here's your traditional Four of Pentacles. So we can see someone clinging tightly to that coin, and there sometimes is a scarcity mentality with it. The reversal means you're starting to see through that illusion, and you're starting to understand that in many ways, shapes, and forms, you might have been giving too much and getting too little. And so this is a chance to reset the balance and to make sure that that's not happening, because your true value is this. So we see you reclaiming power in this one. The actual title is Power. And you're going to find your balance here, change up the priorities, and then you're going to gain much more because of that. So you you already have the insight. There may have been a little bit of inaction in the past. I think if you connect with an advisor, standard disclaimers always apply here, and now the cards are showing it. Connect with an advisor that can kind of put you in the right trajectory. You could see a lot of growth and movement here. In fact, nice segue, you came through as the Knight of Pentacles or the Prince of Pentacles in this deck. So I love the bullish energy here. It might be an ox, but it could also be a bull. But it's basically strong. It reminds me of the bull that you see in front of Wall Street. And it's just saying, like, you can move forward if you want to, but you basically have to go at it with this sense of possibility, passion, persistence, and knowing that you're the one to make this happen. Knights take action and they take charge. And this is your chance to really do all of that. And when it comes to things like money or contracts surrounding your resources, you want to speak up and get a handle on it right now, because you have a great chance to make headway. And I like the progression that we're seeing. We're going upwards basically, because this card is crossing all of these, and this is definitely above all of these. So we're going in the right direction here. There's a little bit of vacillation between these two, but the 2 to the 4 to the Prince, that's a good connection here. And then this Independence card on top of all of them, it's pretty darn good, folks. So this is a great month if you've been thinking about making a change in your money, a change in your investments, asking for more at work, or trying to improve somehow your resource standing. It's a good time to do it, okay? Whatever didn't work before has a better chance of working now. Again, redirection, pushing you down a better path. Let's see what's going on in your environment. We have 2 cards. They were volunteering as I was pulling them. We'll read the top card first and then what's beneath it. So in the environment, the first card that came through was King of Swords in reverse. This is swift. This is outspoken. This is direct. There could be someone around you that just tells it like it is. It does look like they have your best interest at hand. We have the 6 of Wands reversed. However, there could probably be a better way that they could communicate. And you may want to meet them on a higher level and just sort of say, I hear what you're saying, but I have some questions. Let's slow down for a second. Or you can even coach someone and say, I really do appreciate the feedback, but the format that you're giving it, or the timing that you're giving it to me in, is just a little bit difficult for me to digest. Could we try it this way? You can meet a King of Swords with another King of Swords. So just be direct and let them know what you want and what you need, because, they should be able to, if they can dish it, they should be able to take it. And if they can't, that can be something that you can focus on and wonder, like, is it really worth it? Because that center card is about balancing things out. So this is a chance to balance out power and making sure that you're sitting evenly in negotiations and conversations, okay? So definitely speak up. Don't be afraid to push back on things, just like the universe was pushing back on things for you. And you can say no, or you can say, wait a second, or you can even say, I don't like it when you deliver feedback this way. Could you deliver it this way? As long as it's said without emotion, because it feels like that's usually what the King of Swords does, is just delivers facts and information. So try to do the same, try to stay neutral, try not to get too abrupt with someone, and that's going to serve you well. If someone is too abrupt with you or cuts to the bone and says something cruel, definitely hold your hand up to that and say, please stop. We have underneath that card the 6 of Wands, which is success. Now, there could be someone trying to fit you into their sort of like ideal of success, and the good news for you is that you can achieve success on your own terms. So this is both the environment, but it's also you, because what? Like attracts like. So when I look at environmental energy, I'm basically looking at what you're putting out to the universe. So I see someone who is strong, capable, good at communication, good at leadership, can make things happen. And I see someone who's successful, and so does someone else. You might be dealing with someone who is very success driven. And sometimes when you get 2 of these people in the same room, it's kind of like the ox or the bull here, and the 2 of you are, face to face, head to head, and having a hard time getting through that. So my advice here is both of you need to practice better listening skills, and don't be afraid to speak up, because it feels like the other party is doing that. And if this is for those of you that work in a business setting, this can also indicate like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So you want to make sure that your voice is heard, even if it puts you in a place where you're a little uncomfortable because there's a clique or you're afraid that you might not fit in. It's important to be heard. And that's basically all that's going on here. I love that the undercurrent is one of success. The challenge is the tone, the time, and sort of like the frequency, how often you are communicating. If you guys can balance that out, then I feel like success is at hand. Let's see what you want to kind of avoid this month in hopes, fears, and opportunities. And this is really in fears and an opportunity to avoid this because we have the 10 of Swords. Thankfully, this card came through reversed. So for many of you, you can see a potential burnout situation before it happens, a potential argument before you engage in it, and possibly even something that may not be worth your time and energy long before you sort of hit the send button or agree to something or sign on the dotted line. So we're going to trust the High Priestess, her ability to sort this out. It's in a portion of the spread that is not necessarily going to come to be. Hopes, fears, possibilities. So if you're just afraid of failure, the outcome card is success, the Sun. The environment is success, and this constitutes just a fear. If you are seeing something that isn't worth your time and energy and you don't want to argue, just say no. You don't have to get embroiled in this big negotiation or this big argument. In fact, that's the main thing here, is to avoid miscommunication, overcommunication, or engaging with someone who just has a hard time listening or accepting feedback. The reason that it's so important to focus on things that are receptive to your energy is because as we look at the outcome, it's all about birthing and creation this month. We got the Sun card, it was reversed, but let's look at it upright. Typically the Sun would have a little baby riding in on a horse, but in some decks, just like this one, we see actual lover energy or connection energy. The word that came to mind was a communion or a joining of forces, so it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. And that makes sense. This isn't a traditional love card, but it can indicate higher love when it comes in. Unconditional love of a parent and a child, because this is a baby often. It can also be best friend energy, or the love that you would have unconditionally for a pet. So that's what I got, was higher love or a communion of high energy, which is awesome, actually. The reversal of this is saying now is the time to step forward. Now is the time to release, to deliver, to step into something new. And also, this is a chance for you to focus on personal development. Inner child energy is the Sun reversed as well. It's one of 2 or 3 cards in tarot that represents children. You have like the Empress, which is pregnant. You have the Sun, which is a baby. 6 of Cups, which is children. The Fool, which can also be a child. So I would say, though, this is probably the ultimate one because there's a baby on it traditionally. So this is your chance to really do something special. This is the time to create that next new chapter in your life. And I think this is a really beautiful segue into the expanded forecast. We'll look at what you can kind of capitalize on that Sun energy with in health, wealth, love, and destiny. One last note before we get into health, this can also be the birth of a child or, again, the launching of a project. All right, now specifically looking at the energy of health, which is mind, body, and spirit, standard disclaimer applies. I'm looking at energy. If there's anything going on with your body, work with your doctor. We have a message here that you don't have to be alone, and in fact, you're not alone. So for those of you that are feeling isolated, there is, for some of you, this reminder that maybe there's been invitations that you've ignored, and you could always kind of reconnect and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I wasn't available before. Do you want to hang out? It might be your turn to initiate, because the King of Swords is reversed. And you're going to be successful at that, especially if there was something before that you kind of slept on. You could just say, I wasn't ready then, I am ready now. This can work in friendships, this can work in love, this can work in any aspect of your sort of like your life. So it feels like one of the things to focus on is the groups of people that you surround yourself with, and maybe a feeling of isolation, hermiting energy. Because again, this can sometimes be a hermit when it's reversed. So we have normally a very communal, very communicative, very sort of friend vibe here, reversed. And this one should also be the same, but it's reversed. So I think you're starting to realize that there are places to kind of like put your energy into, plug into, but you have to sort of do the work internally to kind of work on self-confidence and being outspoken. And that really is the call to action here, is to to just give it a shot. And I know not everybody has the same comfort level with initiating conversations. Maybe that's something that you can practice with a therapist, for instance, and sort of talk it through. All right, let's just look at the cards now and see what other messages are coming through with respect to just general health and energy. Again, balance overall. This balance card it's not just money. In fact, I very rarely read it as that. We'll talk about it in finances in just a second, but this can be overdoing anything. So exercising too much, sleeping too little or too much. We just want to avoid extremes. Finding the balance in your life. That's the first and the most important and the central most energy. Focusing on getting comfortable with your money and your time as well. So time and resource management and balance. Yes, they touch the other categories, but they also really very much affect our health. Not overdoing it when it comes to, some of you may be celebrating too much. Or like I said, it could be eating too much, drinking too much, partying too much, or hermiting too much. It has to be balanced. So this month, whatever is in excess or whatever is absent, we want to find better moderation. Like the Temperance card would be a great one to meditate on. Getting a management on your sleep is also really important. There are certain nights where you can burn the candle at both ends, but the older you get or the more you do that, the more this has to be a rare occasion. It can't be every night. I love that intuitive development's coming through. So for some of you, you may really feel the call to meditate more. That'll help you in doesn't matter which reading I'm doing, that'll help. But this one especially because you're going to also get insights creatively, health-wise, and just in general. So please spend some time meditating. This can be chronic pain or fatigue, specifically in the back. So for those of you that have done heavy lifting or might just have some aches and pains in your bones, this card is validating that. And of course, as always, it's important for you to work with a health professional if you have anything that's coming through. But this and this are also just burnout. Not getting enough sleep, working too much, not achieving balance, then getting sick. It's completely avoidable because it was in a place in the spread that can be skipped over if you pay attention to your body. Everything else looks pretty good, folks. Solar plexus activation right around the belly button. Some of you might be feeling, the need to sort of strengthen. You can do core things like Pilates, yoga. There's so many different options out there now that don't involve just the gym or doing sit-ups on a mat. There's some cooler things that you can do to activate the core. Breathing is really key. Posture is really key. So focus on that part of your body. And if anything doesn't feel right, including anything in the stomach or navel area, you'll want to, again, get that checked out. But otherwise, most of what I see here is manageable. And I think it really boils down to ample sleep and rest. And then if you feel like you need to connect with others, this is a time to put yourself out there because I want to keep reminding you that there's something that you didn't expect when it comes to making a new friend or connection. And so we have the lover here and we have the lovers on this sun card. And we also have someone cool coming into your life on the Three of Cups. So lover, Three of Cups, and sun all having the energy of community, which is pretty cool. Even the Six of Wands is people applauding you and welcoming you with open arms. All right, that's enough with health. Let's focus now on wealth, resources, your life purpose, and your career. Again, I'm not a substitute for a financial advisor. I'm looking at energy here. Things are changing. We have the shapeshifter here. Transform and unveil your gifts. It came through reversed. There may be stagnation in your life, and it's up to you to sort of speak up and push back on those areas that just aren't moving or growing in the way, shape, or form that you wish that they were. Through the communication of that comes the necessary opening or movement here. And if something wasn't enough, you have the chance to unlock something that is. So I love that we have opportunity marching in. We have an outspoken voice here. We have success. We don't want to overwork, but we see more success on the horizon here. You're not stuck in the same job that you've always been in, but the shapeshifter reminds you that it's up to you to define when, how, and if you're ready to step into something new. Okay? So again, transform and unveil your gifts. There may be something from the past, from when you were a kid, that you've always wanted to do or know that you can do, but you've never given yourself a chance to. And this is the month to really open up and let it all unfold. All right, that is everything with respect to wealth. Now let's take a look at love. And it's interesting because I just want to highlight before we get into it, we see that for some of you, there could have been this sort of period where not a lot is happening, and now we see opportunities knocking. And we also have a card here associated with a deity that normally removes obstacles, Lord Ganesha. So as I look at this oracle card, it's looking at every type of relationship, not just romantic. The message on the bottom of the card says, infinite abundance is coming through, obstacles are being removed, spiritual support and connections are increasing. I agree with that because when we were looking at all of the relationship energy, I mentioned that we had it here, the lover, the Three of Cups, and then the lovers within the Sun card, and then also just the people here in the Six of Cups. So there's a lot of energy around you. It's kind of up to you what you want to do with it. And again, not paying so much attention to what was, but what could be. Let's break this down on 3 different levels. We'll start with those in a current relationship. Then we'll look at those that are seeking one or those that are happily single. If you're in a relationship at present, there's a lot going on. This Two of Pentacles card is really saying for many of you, there's this question of priorities. So if you've been dating for a while, you don't have to be married. This could just be like a long-term relationship. There is that question of what's next. Where do I stand? And this was very similar to what I was picking up in Scorpio as well. So Sagittarius, I think you have this opportunity to get clarity and also decide, what is the focus right now? When I'm looking at all of these sort of resource cards, it feels like in relationships, talking about money is important. If you're planning for the future, some of you may be planning for a child or planning to purchase something big, because that can be this card. There has to be discussions over challenges with money and wishes and desires around it. So that's the first thing, is communicating clearly and frankly about all of that. So if you can do that, I feel like half of your struggles are going to be out of the way, and it looks like you can successfully navigate things. Being truthful, being honest, being outspoken, that's the key to success, folks, this month. There is a fear of being rejected. This doesn't have to always be an argument, because it feels like the gates of communication are open and that you can infer or intuit what your partner is going through and be able to kind of like figure things out. I think the big challenge in relationships this month is one or both of you have too many things on your plate. That's leading to fatigue, which can lead to being short and maybe taking things the wrong way. Some of you are overdoing something in your life as well, which could lead to injury. So basically just having proper balance will be 99% of the challenge for many of you, is just how to say no and how to, and basically how to make time for each other. And I think if you can do that, you'll be all right. That being said, there could also be some health challenges that are already underway. So just being there to support one another is the key. Okay. Thankfully, there's nothing here that seems like it's difficult to navigate. The only thing that's kind of curious, and this is for those that have been dating for a while, maybe even you've been married for a while, the Three of Cups in reverse can be missing that sort of spontaneity that you had when you first met, because this is typically dating. And this is also a question mark for some of you, which is this what I wanted? Did I get everything that I sort of signed up for? Is there anything that you're missing from when you were unattached? And if there's something that you want to create in your life right now, you can do that. You don't have to break up to do that. The Sun card is about you doing some personal development. So that could be going back to school. That could be launching a business. That could be quitting a job. There could be something important to you. And the question is really just, is the partner on board with it? And if you can communicate why this is something that's important, not just to your success, but to the success of the partnership, I feel like you'll be all right. The number one thing you want to avoid is if the partner is short or if you are feeling a little bit aggravated, hold off on the communication. Really make sure that you're being empathetic and vice versa. Can you guys navigate through things? Yes, the Sun card in the outcome is pretty promising. It's just self-care, effective communication, and resource management. These are the things that are coming through. And also, your partner needs to be able to, maybe like one of you is lifting the other up. So I can see someone feeling stuck and the love coming through from the other person saying, this isn't the end. This is maybe just the first step towards something better. Okay, so I like that. There's a lot of support here. Just be careful of the communication. Okay, for those of you that are looking for love, I think the most important thing first and foremost is to sort out money, resources, and your schedule, because there's so much going on. And make sure that if there's anything from a health perspective that you've been avoiding, that you're taking proper sort of precautions and steps towards being healthier and happier. Okay? Can you meet someone? Absolutely. Some of you are already dating. We see someone marching here in the environment, an air sign, an outspoken air sign, or just someone that speaks from, shoots from the hip. And it feels like this is someone that you would just meet in a traditional social setting, not necessarily on an app or being set up. This is out and about. They see you or you see them, and a conversation ensues. I think the main thing here this month is just health. You've got to maintain your health. Don't overdo things. Don't push yourself too far. Get enough sleep. We already have energy coming in. And once you are in a healthy, happy space, the Sun card, which is really bringing forth lover energy, portends good things, as does the Lover. And again, it was in reverse. So this is just about saying I'm open to receiving love. When it comes into my life, I'm not going to second guess it. I'm going to work on my own self-confidence so that doesn't interfere. And I'm going to really focus on communication as well. It doesn't matter what level of relationship status you are. This card keeps coming through as a potential fly in the ointment. The energy of the person that comes in, it's just really bright and sort of like charismatic. This is someone who is easy to talk to, and this is someone who you have a clear spark with. You can't fake that. That's why this card sometimes is a lover's card, because what brighter, bigger, more magnetic energy can you get than our own sort of star at the center of our solar system? So I get it. You should be able to see this coming or sense this out if you're looking for love. You'll know on the first date. You'll know within the first few minutes. Okay? All of that being said, those of you that are single and happy, I think that there's so much going on right now in money and work. That's where the focus is. It's super easy to see here because of the Six of Wands and all of the resource cards swarming around. I think it's super important for you to take care of yourself as well. I'll keep saying that. And get out there, network. This is networking, this is networking, this is networking. So even if you're not focusing on love, there's a lot of people that want to be around you, and it's a great time to pitch an idea, to talk about a new project, to put yourself in a sort of social setting. I think it'll bode well. And now that we've looked at all of that, Lord Ganesha is problem-solving energy. So when it comes to the most important relationships, it's really like, how can we make this work? Or how can we work together? Or how can we collaborate? Ganesha is about bridging the gap, not expanding it. Okay? Now let's go to Destiny, which is shifts a little bit every month. It's basically a message around slowing down. The gazelle, of course, is one of the faster animals out there. And the card in reverse is basically saying, let's shift into a lower gear and take care of yourself. Also, there could be new things rushing toward you, and that's why you're being invited or asked to sort of be more still. So just let some other people do some of that work in coming in your direction. When you are still, you can also get your bearings and make sure that you're not retreading or retracing old karmic cycles. Okay? Let's go ahead now and go a little bit further into sun, rising, and moon messages. So for those of you that might be cross-watching, this will help you out. Or if you're watching the sun sign, you'll get a more specific and detailed message. All right, sun, rising, and moon. I love that we got basically all king and boss energy. We'll talk about that. We'll begin with sun sign messages first. So we got the King of Cups. Definitely a good card for relationships, for love, for partnerships, for creativity, for basically putting your best foot forward. We have a water sign, possibly a Cancer, coming through with this as well. And the King of Cups, of all the different bosses that you might be able to work with, this is kind of like the perfect one because they're amiable, they are creative, they are empathetic, they're very open and receptive. You also have all of these capabilities this month, and you can lean into those. like energy attracts like energy. So the more confident you are in yourself, the more empathetic you are with others, the more creative you are, the more likely you are to connect with someone in that same energy. And like I said, slow down for a moment and see who's coming toward you, because it feels like, particularly if you're seeking out love, the self-care, the management, all of that is important. And once you take a moment to look in any direction, you may be able to sense who that King of Cups might be. But as an aspect of your own personality, fantastic, because we're seeing empowerment, management, control, and creativity. Couldn't ask for anything better to come in the sun sign. Moving on to rising. This one is about pushing back on expectations. So the Hierophant, highly organized, highly structured, hearkening all the way back to the Fibonacci sequence that I was talking about at the very beginning, having patterns and structures and specific ways of doing things. So you may be called intuitively, creatively, emotionally to just break free of what has been expected of you from like teachers or bosses or friends. And it's saying, you know what, that's not me. I'm a little bit more, I have my own sort of stamp that I want to put on the world, and I'm all for that too. There are sometimes gatekeepers in your life, and the Hierophant is aware of how, when, or if they need to go through one of those gatekeepers, and also when they can break the rules. So know when to follow and when to break the standard way of doing things, and maybe create your own system. Everything at one point has to be developed for the first time, and some of you are just very out-of-the-box thinkers. And rising and ascendant hits in work and social spheres a lot, so some of you just aren't going to blend in, and that's okay, because innovation means making a new trend sometimes. So I think it's still a very good card, but it means that this can be a click. It might be hard to satisfy a click, but when you finally do find someone that gets it, they really get it, and it's going to be worth the wait, okay? Looking at the energy of the moon, we also have a card where you're being asked to basically focus on yourself. So Emperor, Empress energy reverse can sometimes be a little bit difficult to be in the presence of. So for you, a way to make it easier for relationships to succeed is basically by knowing that sometimes people just don't want advice. They're not ready to receive the feedback. So you step back and you're like, I'm here when you need me. Then you can focus the energy on yourself. You can create, you can explore, you can heal. You can also, as we saw at the center, just kind of like save some of that for a rainy day, because you don't have to be everybody's battery or everybody's, paternal, maternal, Mr. Fix-It, Mrs. Fix-It sort of energy. That, my friends, brings us to the final question for today. And just a reminder that this month, if you want to do a meditation, it's a standalone video. I'll put a link in the comments below. All right, so for the final question, here's how it works. Think of something that I haven't yet covered. You can see the whole spread in front of you today. If there's anything that hasn't yet been dealt with and you still have a question, focus on that now. Let me go ahead and shuffle the cards, and let's see what Spirit has to say about that. One more shuffle since some cards were on the table. All right, we have the King of Pentacles in reverse, which is actually pretty good. So King of Pentacles in the upright position would be very in control of finances, has a green thumb when it comes to anything, can create growth and movement. In the reverse state, it's understanding that not everything is worth your time and energy. Notice how we've had all of these king cards or these power cards in the reverse state. So you're being asked to basically manage your life, your affairs, and ultimately we're coming back to resources one more time here with the King of Pentacles. The number one area you can see movement in this month is having more time, having more energy, having more resources, moving things, goals, opportunities forward, and at the end of the month, feeling a lot more empowered. I feel like that's a really great place to be, and it's a really great message here at the end of things. With all of that being said, I'm going to leave you with one last question. As you weigh out new opportunities, this card reversed is basically the universe saying, how does this move the needle forward? How does it serve you? How is it advancing things? Because the focus does come back on personal development and growth. If you're not growing, you shouldn't be going in that direction. The Dead end, the hand that we saw here, is basically trying to stop you. And it's, again, reminding you that you should love and feel reciprocity on the path that you are headed in. Okay? That's everything, folks, and what a beautiful reading it was today. If you enjoyed this reading, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up, and then leave me an emoji below. Perhaps we could use the sunflower, since it came up a few times, or the daisy. Let me know what your big growth opportunity is, where you're going to find your balance. I always enjoy hearing how things factor out for all of you. You can also follow me across social media. It's at Nicholas Ashbaugh everywhere, and that way you won't miss any future videos. You can also go to my website to get those links. A quick reminder, I don't offer any private readings, so if anybody ever reaches out and pretends to be me, block, report them, and let me know about it as well. I'd like to say thanks to all of you that have given back on any of my readings as a super sticker, super chat, becoming a member, or even doing a super thanks. I see and read each and every comment and see all of those contributions, and it means a lot, so thank you so much. And finally, thanks for spending some time with me today. You have a lot of choices here on YouTube, so I appreciate your presence. I drop new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. I do live streams every Sunday, and I also produce daily readings. So check out the main channel page for all of those playlists, and thanks for spending some time with me today. Lots of love and light. I hope to see you very soon, and in the meantime, I hope that you have an amazing month ahead. Take care.